The 1 second rule is something you must be able to follow and understand. Basically, your thumbnail needs to communicate value in 1 second or less, and to go more in depth on this, your brain needs to know subconsciously what the value of the video is before the eyes register what the video is about. Let me explain. Each and every single one of these thumbnails here communicate what the video is about subconsciously, even before you know what the video is. So this is my own video right here, how to keep your viewers addicted. This is one of my clients' videos asking girls how to get girls in 2024, and this is one of my first YouTube clients ever making a video called Outwork Everyone by Doing Less. And these thumbnails, they all have one thing in common. It's really easy to understand what the video is before you even think what the video is about. Sorry, I got a little brain fart right there. Here are some subtle clues as to why this is, because looking at these right now, you probably don't understand what the 1 second rule is, but if we look deeper, you'll understand. So, I pretty much broke down each and every single one of these thumbnails, so let's start with my own thumbnail. So first of all, everyone looks at the top left first. This is kind of like human psychology. But first of all, you see Premiere Pro is on the computer. So your brain is like, okay, this is about editing. This video has something to do about editing. Then you look to the right. You see a smirking, green, mysterious frog. So your brain is thinking something along the lines of, what does this green frog know that I do not about video editing? So your brain connects the dots, and this is all happening in less than 1 second. Now, you look at the bottom left. The text tells me to do this, and my brain is telling me, this guy knows the secret to editing that I don't know. And then the title solidifies the assumption about the video. So your brain puts all these three things together and says, okay, I need to watch this because it has the secret I need to get more views, and you're going to end up binge clicking this video. Hence why this video has 204,000 views, because the thumbnail gets you psychologically hooked because of these three things, and the title just brings it all together and makes a person binge click. Yo, real quick, if you want to get 90 plus viral thumbnail ideas curated specifically from ya boy to copy for your own channel and get thousands of views, you can join the Thumbnail Vault. It's literally $5 a month, and you can see what others are saying to get an idea bank of the latest thumbnail trends from a person that has blown up so many channels from 1 to 10K subscribers, including myself, is so dope. It's a never-ending bank of inspiration for working thumbnails and titles, and a ton of other reviews. So you get 3+ viral thumbnails a day, your ticket to 1,000+ subscribers. You can literally talk to me specifically in the chat, and like I said, it's only $5 a month. So click the link below if you want to join. Now let's get back to that knowledge. So I want you to think about the last time you were in a store when you were hungry. You had the pain of hunger, and if you don't eat, you're going to die, right? So when you're at the grocery store and you have this pain of hunger, you are going to pick the thing that looks tasty, and you're going to binge buy that thing and eat it. It's the same thing as a thumbnail. You are in some sort of pain. In this example right here, the pain is not being able to get views. So you see this thumbnail, you put all these three things together, and this amalgamates into a binge click. And then you watch the video, and it gives you value, and that's why the YouTube algorithm is recommending this video to hundreds of thousands of people and got me a shit ton of money. So it's as simple as that. But basically, the main thing is you need to understand that you need to get your viewer's brain to know what the video is in about 1 second. Because if it takes longer than a second to figure out what your video is about, then the person's probably going to scroll past, and that's an impression that is going to be wasted, and that person is going to click on someone else's video. So let's look at Danny's example. By the way, this man has 400 subs at the time of recording this video. I think about 415 subs. This video has 12K views. So first of all, you're probably looking around the top left, the top to the left. So you see the guy with the mic interviewing the girl. Now obviously, you don't really see the mic because it's not really like there. in the first place, but this like interaction right here looks like he's interviewing her. So your brain is probably thinking something along the lines of, this might be something about dating, which is my problem, right? This guy is trying to target introverts that have a tough time with dating. So when an introvert with a tough time in dating is looking at this thumbnail, he's psychologically thinking, yeah, this is about dating, which is my problem. Then he looks at it again. The text is about girls being painfully honest. So the text reads, girls being painfully honest. It's as simple as that. You already know what this means because, painfully. Now, the introvert's brain is probably thinking, what is she being honest about? Then he looks back and he's like, this girl, the facial expression is interesting. What is she going to be honest about? And then the title solidifies, again, the assumption about the video. The brain goes, I need to watch this because it has the secret to get girls. Because the title is simply asking women how to get girls in 2024, ? And 12,000 views on a 400 subscriber channel says it all. It's a 100x multiplier simply because the brain is putting 2 and 2 together and it just hits the pain points of the person that has this pain of dating. So it's the same thing. They are going to binge click this because they think it has the solution to their pain. It all ties back to, how am I going to get rid of this person's pain? Now, John Allington. You can search him up, John Allington. He hasn't made videos in a while, which I don't understand why. He was doing really, really good 11 months ago. At 100,000 plus views, 100x multiplier. This was a crazy video. This is one of my first clients. Anyways, you're probably looking around the top left to the left, right? So you see popular productivity book covers right here. You subconsciously see this and you're thinking, this is something about being productive, which is my problem. I have a problem with staying focused. I end up doing XYZ instead of actually doing the work, etc. Then you look at the text, which is probably going to catch your mind because the thumbnail is so goddamn simple. The text reads, discipline is simple. The text is making a controversial and bold statement. So your brain, the person that is in pain, aka the person that has trouble being productive, is thinking, how is this hard thing, which is discipline, simple to master? Like, I don't get this. How is discipline simple? I need to click this video. And then you're probably looking at the guy looking happy with his MacBook. And in my opinion, whenever I see a guy on a MacBook, I'm thinking productivity, right? When I see a guy with like a PC, like I don't know, like a Razer PC, I'm not thinking productive. I'm thinking like gamer. But anyone with a MacBook, I'm thinking, hey, this guy's productive. So the MacBook probably plays a big portion, a big role in this thumbnail being so successful simply because it relates to people being productive. MacBook plus productivity books plus discipline is simple plus guy looking happy plus clean, empty, simple workspace equals this guy may have figured out my big problem in life, aka being productive. So, again, you look at the title, and it solidifies the assumption about the video. So the brain is thinking, I need to watch this because he's more successful than me by doing less than me. What is his secret? So everything you just learned here is this simple rule. It's the 1 second rule. Your thumbnail needs to tell you what the video is about in less than 1 second, and your brain needs to register what the video is before your eyes even register what it is. So if you have to look at your thumbnail for more than 3 seconds, even more than 1 second, and you have to kind of think about what the video is about, then your thumbnail is simply not ready to upload. You need to bang out a perfect thumbnail that gets communicated to the brain in less than 1 second, and then it's ready to be uploaded, and then you're going to get these 100x multipliers. You're going to get hundreds of thousands of views, and you're going to get thousands of more leads than if you rush a thumbnail and you make one thumbnail and upload it and get 10 views. Oh man, did you get the 12 views again? Look, it happens, but I am going to say this one more time. If you do want to join the Thumbnail Vault and you want to take inspiration from thumbnails that are actually getting views, especially coming from small channels, so you can literally steal, copy and paste, plug and play into your own channel and get views, join the thumbnail vault, dude. It's $5 a month. You can come say hi to me and literally send me your video if you want me to check it out as well. You can check out the reviews as well on the page. You can check out what Nathan's saying. You can check out what Kay DeMoss is saying, Evan's saying, and Fran's saying, and many, many more. And join me and 23 others. It's $5 a month, bro. And if you want to literally just see what's working for small channels like yourself and finally start getting views instead of those 12 view videos, check out the Thumbnail Vault, link in the description below. I'll see you inside. Come say what's up when you join, and back to the video, mister. What you need to do is you need to continue iterating, which I will show you in this, or I've already showed you in this, and make that thumbnail that communicates the value in 1 second or less, and that is the 1 second rule, probably the most important rule in thumbnails. Let's get into fonts and text. So what you need to understand is that a good font does not always equal a bold font. So what does a good font do? It's really simple. All a good font does is create curiosity. So each font has a different type of personality, and a font conveys a message to the viewer, simply what the video is about. And if you notice, these 2-3 different fonts here all convey a different type of personality. And this is just a perfect way to summarize this. You read this in 2 different voices, water and water. But for thumbnails, in specifically, fonts have to be simple, easy to read, and unique. But most importantly, either grab the viewer's secondary attention, and here are a few pretty good examples of fonts grabbing secondary attention. So one is how to keep your viewers addicted. So obviously I've been talking about this throughout this whole course, which is one of my videos. So the primary attention is just the Premiere Pro in the background, the frog just looking all mysterious, and the secondary attention is do this. So basically the brain processes the whole image and then looks at this text, and the text tells them to do this, and they're thinking, okay, so what do I need to do? And then they read the title solidifies what the viewer is thinking about the thumbnail, how to keep your viewers addicted. It's telling me to do this. Okay, bang, let me binge click this. Same thing with this video from Helmy YouTube Funnels. The primary attention is the Premiere Pro, and the simple and clean editing, and the X, and the check mark, and the human. I almost said the Helmy. And then your brain looks at the text and says, YouTube is evolving, and makes you curious. Then you read the title, your audience wants this new editing style. And it got 119,000 views 9 months ago at a 100x multiplier. So it's the same thing. Your brain gets primary attention from the images, then secondary attention from the font and the text. And this font is honestly displaying a sort of personality. Same with this font. But then the viewer looks at the title and wants to click. But thumbnails and fonts in specific can grab the viewer's primary attention too, and I gathered a few examples. So this is one from Isaac. He's like a YouTube guy, kind of like the more dopamine style. But as you can see, the text in the font is typically the primary attention of this thumbnail. Because if you just covered this right here, if you got rid of this text right here, you probably wouldn't know what the video is about. So you see the thumbnail text, it's in the top middle, it's really easy to see, it's the first thing that kind of catches your eye, other than like, you know, this guy right here. But this catches your eye, this pretty much solidifies what the video is about. And then the secondary attention is like the background videos. And then the viewer looks at the title, how I actually make viral thumbnails, and then people click the video. This is probably the best example of a primary attention based video or thumbnail with fonts, because it's a really simple font. All there is retire ASAP, and then a guy that looks like he knows about retirement, and a successful guy at that. So that's the secondary attention. Then the primary attention is retire ASAP. Bang. Now, the viewer that trusts people like this and see the word retire, and they know that they're going to retire soon, or they want to retire, they're going to watch the title. They're going to look at the title and see what the video is about. Now, the title is Retire Now if you answer yes to all 6 questions. It's got 409,000 views. It's a 60x multiplier. It makes sense. Now, let's go to one of the guys in lead maxing, for example. This text is the primary attention because, first of all, it's in the top left. We read from left to right. Second of all, It takes up most of the thumbnail other than like the face, but first you're probably going to see this, crypto scams. Then it points to this person right here. Then it's the secondary attention. Bang, it's this guy right here, which is the person in lead maxing. And then you see this, it gets you curious. You look at the title, Crypto Scams Exposed, 5 tips not F up. 37,000 views, 1 out of 10. Bang. So these are examples of how fonts and text can either grab the viewer's secondary attention or be the main attraction to the thumbnail, aka grabbing the viewer's primary attention. So when should you use text as primary or secondary attention? And it's a really good question, and it's something that I've spent pretty much years trying to figure out, and it just depends on iteration. Because what I noticed is that there is no specific blueprint that you could follow with thumbnails, because thumbnails in itself is a creative endeavor. It's something that just simply either comes to you or doesn't come to you. There can't be a framework or a blueprint with thumbnails. It's something that you need to actually use creative brain power and brain juices to like conjure up something that looks really, really interesting. And trust me, I will go through that in this course. I got a few tricks up my sleeve. So you won't truly know which thumbnail works better until you have multiple thumbnails in front of you to judge. So for example, this is my iteration for this video right here, how to keep your viewers addicted. So I had a bunch of random ones. The dark secret to viral video retention. It's like, you know, Pepe, and he's like looking at the retention. It's like, oh, okay. Then I had a bunch of them, actually, just like a bunch of different images of like Wojaks. Like I made this one in Photoshop. I thought that was kind of funny, but it does not catch your eye, I don't think. This right here, he's saluting. He's on the computer. This is like the TF2 guy from TF2. And then I found this. And then I found this image. Well, I made the image. It was in a Bing AI. So it was an AI generated image. I photoshopped it, put Premiere Pro in the background, and I had something here. But the thing was, iteration was key. And I noticed something about this thumbnail. There was a bit of empty space that I could use to my advantage. So there was red arrow, no circle in this one. But then I thought right here was where I was really messing up, because there was nothing there to kind of like capture the viewer's attention. But I love this title. So I remade the thumbnail and I added "do this" in the simple Helvetica font. And I used Helvetica on purpose because Helvetica wasn't really used widely at the time. Keep in mind, this is an 11-month-old video. So I used Helvetica. It's the Gary's Mod font. And yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I just added a few more touch-ups, added a red circle, added yellow text, made the font bigger, made the text bigger, and bang! 204,000 views after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 iterations. So iteration is simply key. You can't get away with not iterating. Now, we've gone through this example for a little bit, so let's go through this example first. This is Mike from Sell Your Service, also in lead maxing. So when we were working on this thumbnail, and we worked together one-on-one, or we still work together one-on-one, I should say, and we worked on multiple thumbnails. So we had this one right here. So it's like traffic lead sale, 150K. It's got some text here. It's technically a font, I guess, because, you know, he's writing in a certain way. Then we added text right here where it was like his Stripe account, and 25K months, 10,000 hours. You know, we had a picture of a funnel and he was pointing at it. You know, a bunch of iterations, even like different angles and different like variations of the same thumbnail. But then we had this one, and funny enough, we actually did a split test. We didn't actually come up with just one simple one, but we did this, one other, and then like one of these. And then obviously this split test did the best, and we just kept it as that. So if you need to make 5,000 in 7 days, watch this. And guess what? It was at 160. It's at 162,000 views. Got him to go high levels, #2 highest affiliate in the world. Beat Frank Kern. Just generated a bunch of leads. Made a bunch of money. And at the time, he was at 17,000 subscribers, and now he's at 37,000 subscribers. So he added 20,000 subscribers, qualified subscribers in a B2B niche, simply by iterating the thumbnails. Because before this video, his videos were at like 200, 300, 400, 500 views. Just a few ones that odd 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000. But this was the one that really blew him up, and there was multiple of these simply because we iterated. Because there was no real like template or like formula to use to make a really good thumbnail. It's really just like trial and error, and I'm going to teach you everything I know about thumbnails. Trust me, don't worry, I got you. But iteration is key, and you need to understand this. Same thing with Danny from Unlocked, also in lead maxing, by the way. Iteration is key because he made a bunch of thumbnails. So he changed the text, he moved it up, moved it down, moved it behind, even added a little microphone in Photoshop. I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't think I added it. Yeah. He added a little microphone in Photoshop. I didn't even realize until he told me. And he just iterated, and he used other people's thumbnails and seen what worked before, and just flipped the script a little bit to make it just a tad bit slightly unique. So as you can see, these are some popular interviews that other people have done, and all he did was just be a little different, which was add the little square and have a different font and have a nice picture that looks interesting and unique, and that's all you need to do. You just need to slightly flip the script, and this video got 12,000 views, and he started generating leads with under 500 subscribers, under 1,000 subscribers, and he's now starting to make money simply because he's iterating. And what is iteration? Iteration is key. So the main thing you need to understand is that text and a good font can do three things. Not all good. They can either make your thumbnail, enhance your thumbnail, or ruin your thumbnail. And the only way to find out is to iterate with multiple different thumbnails, and preferably I would want you to make 4 to 6 completely different thumbnails. Let's talk about the human eye direction. So first of all, I want to tell you, you need to use this with caution and with critical thinking, because thumbnails are specifically meant to be broken, and by that I mean the rules are meant to be broken. So this is definitely not law, but this is just basic human psychology that you need to understand, especially with thumbnails. So the gist of it is that the top left typically gets the attention first. We all read from left to right, essentially. Not everyone in the world reads from left to right, but yeah. Anyways, I found this study, and it says that the top left corner gets the attention first, and this is just like a website study, but still, same thing applies to thumbnails. But it found it really interesting because priority number 1 is in the top left, priority number 2 is around the middle to the left and to the right, and priority number 3 is around the bottom right to bottom left. And it makes sense because if you're from North America, or pretty much most places in the world, you're reading from left to right. So it makes sense you're looking at the top left all the way to the bottom left. Anyways, there's another image that I really like right here, and they talk about something called the Gutenberg diagram. It describes a general pattern that the eyes move through when looking at usually text-heavy content. So your primary optical area starts here, goes to the strong fallow area, and by the way, I'm just saying this for no reason at all. I actually don't even know what these things mean, but it makes sense. It's like you look here, then you look here, then you look kind of here, and then you look here. So, which thumbnails do really good with this law in mind? Well, it all depends. So I found 4 thumbnails that use this really, really well. So you're usually reading from top left, so you see crypto exit strategy, you know the thumbnail is about a crypto exit strategy. Then you look to the right, this guy's looking serious, you're like, okay, this guy's looking serious, so this is probably a video that I need. Then you look at the bottom right, or bottom left, and you see stablecoin, off-ramp, taxes, so it kind of creates more curiosity. Then the title pretty much solidifies the thumbnail, how to take crypto profits, beginner guide. Same thing with this guy's thumbnail, Helmy YouTube funnels. Your audience wants this new editing style. So you see top left around right here, you see editing. Then you go here, it's like good editing. Then you go here, it's like, oh, what? This is much simpler than this. Then you look at him, and he's looking like, again, serious. And then you see the text in the middle, YouTube is evolving. And then you look here, there's like nothing really except for like some Premiere Pro. Then the title solidifies the thumbnail. Your audience wants this new editing style, and the whole thumbnail makes sense. You understand what the thumbnail is about in 1 second or less. Same thing with this, retire ASAP, top left, then right, this guy pointing back to the text, and that's it. Simple as that. Same thing as this, before 2 hours, look right, okay, and then look to the bottom left, now 3 minutes, 5 AI video editing tools that save me 1,000 plus hours. Definitely the weakest one out of all these, But again, thumbnail rules are meant to be broken because this thumbnail doesn't really follow this whole human eye direction rule, but is not doing that bad. It's actually doing the second worst out of all these three, which all have above 10,000 views, and this one has 100,000 views, this one has 400,000 views, right? So this having 400,000 views makes sense because it's a good video idea, good topic, thumbnail is great, but also it does follow this human eye direction rule. So take this information with a grain of salt. But it's not the only way to make good thumbnails, because you see thumbnails that do differently all the time. Now here are two examples. So let's talk about this one for example. This is one of my past videos, and if you don't know, this is the story behind this thumbnail and this video. I was bored, I had no content for the week, I didn't know what to do, I didn't want to rush content, so what I did was I took my old school course that got updated much better, compiled it onto YouTube, and dropped it with this thumbnail. It got 76,000 views. So why did it do good? Obviously the video was good, the course was good, but the thumbnail was really good too because it kind of breaks the mold with YouTube. So if you look at the top left, all you're seeing is like you. If you go here, you see tube. If you go here, you see course. You go here, you see like a little bit of a graph. But it's not really the best example for a human eye direction. But the thing is though, is that it captures your attention in the middle because it focuses on the middle. There's nothing really going on in the background, but all your attention is right here because it's free course in the middle. YouTube right here. Pepe the Green Frog right here. Then YouTube in the background and like some subtle graph. So you can be really subtle and get thousands and thousands of views, but this thumbnail only did well because I made it interesting, right? And we'll go into this more, but I just want to tell you that, you know, you don't need to follow this rule like law. I'm just saying that it's something that you need to understand and kind of think of every time you make a thumbnail and every time you iterate on a thumbnail. Same thing with this guy right here. How I would learn video editing if I could start over again. It's got 129,000 views 1 year ago. I forget what this guy's channel is, but I'm pretty sure he has like 12,000 subscribers, something like that. But same thing, you know, if you just cover this, right? If you cover this, you wouldn't think it's a video about video editing because it's just a random, you know, kitchen, right? And he's just like holding a laptop. So if you got rid of this screen right here, you wouldn't know what the thumbnail is about. But when he has the MacBook, and going back to the last module where I was talking about how like MacBooks are for productive people, you see your MacBook, you're thinking productive person, then you see the video editing software and it's like, okay, this is a video about video editing because he's showing you the software. How I learn video editing if I could start over again. It doesn't really make sense, but it also does make sense at the same time because your eye is getting attracted right to this point right here and right to this point right here where he's looking serious. He's like, yo, I know something you don't know. Then he's showing you his Premiere Pro. And it got 129,000 views. It's a 43x multiplier. The results speak for itself. Anyways, just to recap, your eye pretty much reads from left to right. Usually, typically from top left to bottom right, top left to middle to bottom right. So use this information with a grain of salt. You can also look at this right here. I'll leave the resources below. And yes, it is something to keep in mind. Off to the next module. Okay, this is how most channels create content. So they spend all their time scripting, editing, recording, ideating, making this really good video. But then this is the amount of time that they spend working on the thumbnail. And this is a very, very bad mistake, and it's almost certainly going to kill the views and the leads that you get on that video. So you're pretty much doing this to yourself. So imagine you are Gordon Ramsay, right? And you have all these skills, all this social proof, you have years of experience doing what you're doing, and you're just making some really good food, and it takes like 8 hours, for example. Then you make this amazing meal, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is just wonderful, and I'm getting hungry right now just like looking at this, so let's move on. But then you serve it out of this white, dingy old van in the middle of the night. It definitely doesn't seem appealing to get into this white van to get this food, doesn't it? It's the same thing with thumbnails. When you spend all your time scripting, editing, recording, and ideating, and just everything that goes into a video except for the thumbnail, when you spend like 15 minutes on a thumbnail, you make one, you're like, okay, that's good enough, then you're pretty much ruining all this progress simply because it doesn't matter how good your video is. If the packaging is wrong, then no one's going to click it. It's just not appealing. And it also creates an imbalance in quality. So this is what happens when you spend 10 hours on the video, but only 30 minutes on a thumbnail, right? The video is so much more heavier than the thumbnail and holds so much more weight simply because you put more effort into this. And I kind of understand why you don't put effort in the thumbnail, or you probably do put effort in the thumbnail, but the only reason why you spend so little time on the thumbnail just wanting to get the video out is because you think your video is really good and you think it's going to blow your channel up or get you more leads, get you more views, get you more sales. But the problem with this, and the problem with rushing the thumbnail to like get this masterpiece out, is that if you rush the thumbnail, no one's going to click on it. Simple as that. So attracting quality viewers come from an intriguing cover to your book, aka your thumbnail. So one thing I like to, can I get rid of this? Anyways, whatever. One thing I love to say and to kind of like compare thumbnails with is a book cover. You've probably seen a book with a really terrible cover, and maybe you started reading it and maybe you got instantly hooked, right? But more times than none, you've seen an amazing, weird, interesting, intriguing book cover, and then you give the book a shot. Then you read the content. If every single book had no book cover, you wouldn't really know which one is good or which one's bad, or you couldn't make a judgment on it. So the thumbnail is the same exact thing, and these are a few of my favorite thumbnails so far. I love this deep focus one. I love this one right here. Everyone around you is faking it. This is a really good video, and it's like a 16-minute rant video or like a 30-minute rant video. Literally no editing, no nothing, and just the thumbnail is amazing. The packaging is great. It's curiosity driven. It makes you want to click. Only experts know this. Bang, bang, bang. You guys already know the deal. But basically, what you need to understand is that you need an intriguing cover to your book. And if you waste, or if you don't spend enough time working on your thumbnail, you're going to just get messed up by the competition. So one of the #1 thumbnail rules is you cannot skimp out on your thumbnail creation time. So if you know your video can help someone, benefit someone, make someone emotionally driven to the point where they can actually book a call with you or buy something from you or give you their email, then you need to spend at least half the time it took to make the video on your thumbnail. And let me reiterate and say this. Everything I say is not law. It's simply some guidelines that you need to follow, because the thumbnail creation process and thumbnails in general are almost like an enigma. Like, I can't even think of like a simple word to use, but like, thumbnails are meant to be broken. The rules are meant to be broken within thumbnails, but please just spend more time on your thumbnails. That's what I mean. But at least spend half the time it took to make your video on your thumbnail. And I have a little guideline I'll show you in a second. So just to show you in a pie chart, if your video is like this good, then your thumbnail needs to be this good or even better. So you could even do 60-40, so 60% thumbnail, 40% video. But this is typically a good rule of thumb. You never want to go less than this, less than 50% on the thumbnail creation. So how long should your thumbnails take to make? Because I'm talking about, if you spend 5 hours on a video, you should spend 5 hours on a thumbnail, which is a decent guideline, but here is what I like to do. And in a perfect world, minimum 2 days long. And I broke it down to here. So day 1 is you create 4 to 6 different thumbnail iterations, then sleep on it. So how are you going to make 4 to 6 completely random different thumbnails? It's very easy, and if I didn't show you yet in the course, I will show you later. But what you're going to do is take thumbnails from your thumbnail database, and we have a thumbnail database in this school. You literally just go down to resources and click thumbnail database and find 4 to 6 or even 10 different thumbnails that inspired you and that you can kind of take from their niche and put it into your own niche. So the key here is to take from different niches, not in your own niche, because if you take from other niches, or if you take from your own niche, then you're just going to pretty much copy and paste what's already been working. And what we need to do is stand out. And how you stand out is you take from completely different niches if you don't have any inspiration. So that's what I do if you don't have inspiration. So create 4 to 6 different thumbnails and then sleep on it. And by sleep on it, I mean like literally just do it, do whatever else you have to do in the day, and then just go to sleep and wake up the next morning. And then we go into day 2. But yeah, sleep on it, do something, play basketball, I don't know, like go swimming, do whatever. Like the more different things you can do, and kind of like the more you can switch up your day and have new experiences, the more creativity and imagination you get, in my opinion, in my personal opinion. This is what I've done in the past. Day 2, you want to test and compare your thumbnails to your competitors. So I want you to take all your competitors' thumbnails, and we can actually just go right here and just show you, like, forget. Let's go here to the other module in this course. This is my guy, Danny. He has got 400 plus subscribers. His last video was 12,000 views. He's gotten leads, he's gotten sales through this video. And what he did was he slept on those 4 to 6 different thumbnails. The next day, he tested them with other videos in his niche. So this is the eye test. This is his thumbnail. This is his thumbnail. These are the other people's thumbnails. And basically what he did was just show the school. Well, he didn't show the school. He showed other people which thumbnail, these thumbnails, and asked them which one they'd click. I said this one, and yeah, it worked. 12,000 views. So that's what you do. Let me go back here. I'm losing myself here. Test and compare your thumbnails to your competitors. So grab all your competitors' thumbnails and then test them with your own thumbnail. And then step 3 is post your findings to Lead Maxing and get outside opinions from other people. I don't know why I said this twice. Disregard this. But anyways, yeah, get other members' opinions on the thumbnails and see which one they would click. And then step 4 is split test your top 3 thumbnails on YouTube. Okay, so YouTube has a split testing feature that you can use, and I'll show you how to do that. You probably already know how to. You could probably just Google it. It's very simple. But then split test the top 3 thumbnails and then let YouTube do the work. And keynote, on day 2 of your video being uploaded, when you're split testing, you want to set the thumbnail to the one that did the best. So don't let the split test run for 14 days because that's just going to have a bad thumbnail running on your video. So you want to set it as soon as you get results. So quick recap, you just don't want to do this. You don't want to spend 30 minutes on a thumbnail when you spend 10 hours on a video, because you are going to make mistakes, you're going to make impulsive decisions, and you're going to drop your video with a bad thumbnail, thus no one's going to click. But instead, you should balance it out and do this. If you have a 5-hour video, spend more time on your thumbnail. It doesn't need to be 5 hours for your thumbnail, but you need to spend a lot of time creating different thumbnails, testing, and seeing which one gets the click.